Hey guys, welcome back to the Pink Room. Featuring your girl, Bajay, or starring your girl, Bajay, whatever, same thing. So, first of all, I have like one YouTube video. I'm like, welcome back, but I'm here. So, we're gonna get into it, we're gonna do this thing and we gonna start being a little bit more consistent. Because 2021 going on 2022, and one thing I want to keep going is my consistency. So I did a poll and I asked everybody what would they like me to talk about and bring to my YouTube channel as my coming back. And the two choices were moving on my own to New York City, or first of all, let's talk about little piggy here, because you're gonna see Piggy here show off in the video all day, because all she's been doing is showing up. And I want to go ahead and tell y'all, this just happened. Like, setting up my camera is so ghetto. I'm just so upset right now because, okay, anyways, just ignore Piggy. If you see Piggy acting crazy, just ignore her, okay? So we're gonna get into it. So yeah, the poll was living on my own in New York City or starting my lash business. Just introducing two important things to my story or to my channel to explain like the position I'm in now, how I'm thinking, my mindset, all those things. And the one that won was actually living on my own. Cool. So the good news is, because I actually wanted to talk about both topics, living on my own and starting my lash business kind of goes together, because my lash business did take off more when I was staying on my own anyways. So it helped me get experience, helped me learn to, build clientele and everything. But I mainly am going to talk about the living on my own because that's what everybody wanted me to speak about. So here we go. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. If you don't already follow me or subscribe to me, like, why not? You feel me? Just subscribe. It don't hurt, yeah, so cool. All right, so living on my own. First of all, I live in Charlotte as of right now. I actually moved back home. I did move from Charlotte to New York City on my own, which is not like I was new to New York. I've been in New York before. I was raised in New York, so I know New York already. It was nothing for me to just get up and leave, because it's not like I was moving somewhere foreign. All my friends is there. Charlotte is the foreign place, if anything, because I don't really know a lot of people here. I went to school here in like 6th grade, but yeah. So yeah. Anyways, I moved home back to New York on my own. My mom decided to stay here. She bought this beautiful house, which I love. Look at my big room. I'll probably insert a clip for you guys to see how nice my room is. You won't find a room like this in New York, but or at least if you do, you won't find it for an affordable price like this one is. So it's a nice house. Can't beat it. I love it here. I loved it here even when I stayed before. But when it got hot, baby, when it got hot is when it was time for me to go. So everybody knows, like, New York is just where you want to be when it's hot. Like, especially if you know people. Imagine being down here in Charlotte where you don't know nobody and you seeing all your friends in New York living their best life. And it's hot outside. Yeah, seasonal depression was hitting me in the summer, and that usually happens in the winter, so had to go. When I first left to New York, I was not living in my own place, like, paying rent or anything. Well, let's just say this. Even when I was in New York, I didn't own my own place. It's not like I had enough. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to fix my string. It's not like I had my own apartment or anything. I was renting a room. So I went to New York under the intent that I was going to be like renting out a room in an apartment. That was already to go. That was already set in stone. That's already something I knew I was going to do. So it was like, cool. Easy go when you already know how you want to move when it comes to moving. When I first got to New York, I stayed with a few of my friends for about not longer than a month. I probably left in like June, and by July I was in like, my own space. So in the beginning I stayed with a friend of mine who lived in Jersey, because when I did live in New York for a good amount of time, I lived in New Jersey, and I would commute back and forth from the city to Jersey. So that was something that I was okay with doing. This friend of mine, she had her own apartment and stuff, but after a while it got a little bit difficult because I ended up landing a job as a server. So that's a check on skills. I've never worked a serving job before. So when I went to New York, I became a server, and now I have serving on my resume. A good skill, a good asset. Anybody could do serving. I feel like they were looking for experienced servers, and I lied and said I was a server because, hello, like, it's nothing you can show me that I won't be able to get once I see it that first time. So got into serving, was taught right there, got it right there, became great at it, amazing, good opportunity, good thing to add to my resume, all that good stuff. When I first got there, though, I was staying with a friend, and I realized that I was getting off too late to even commute to Jersey, so it just became too difficult for me. So I ended up just moving into another friend's house, which she lived close to my job. She was on about like 14th Street, and the job was on 42nd. So it was very convenient. Her mom was very open to me. She allowed me to stay there for a few, especially while I got on my feet. It's easy to get a job in the city, in my opinion, especially if you know how to talk to people. No matter where you are, it should be easy to get a job if you know how to speak to people. And if you know how to sell yourself. That's one big thing that I was taught by an old manager of mine. She told me, you know, always sell yourself when you're going to a job, because it's the easier way to get the job, honestly. Some people don't like to. Some people like to just be like, listen, I ain't perfect. You know, not I. I'm gonna sell myself, and I'm gonna make myself to be the best thing you've ever seen, and I'm gonna hold up to it. Like, at least I'm not selling myself and pretending. When you get me, you're gonna see that I am a great worker. So yeah. But a friend of mine, her mom let me stay with them for a few, and it was pretty good. It was good. Like, I enjoyed staying at her house. It was very welcoming. I've stayed at her house before. Like, when I would go to New York to visit, I would be there for about a week or two. So it's like I'm good and connected with the family. Her mom did give me a date to not leave by, like, you have to go, but that was like, okay, you can stay until this date, which is 100% understandable. You have a home, you have children here, you're not doing a rental service. I'm not about to be here stacking all my money in your house, and I'm not even helping you in any way. Like, I'm 100% understandable when it comes to things like that. So, and that's nothing that her mother said to me, but that was just how I perceived it. Like, I wouldn't want to overstate anything because I get it. So I did stay with her for a few. When that time came, that date had came, I think I started working on like June 16th. Oh, I started working June 16th. And I had finally started getting money, you know, because I was serving. But you have to, Piggy is killing me. I'm sorry, yo. But you have to start training before you could actually, you know, start serving. So I was in training for about a week before I actually started seeing funds. So I think I started working on the 16th, and I was supposed to leave. My date was like the 22nd. So around the 22nd actually came, and you know, me and my friend had the conversation because I knew it was time. So I spoke with her, and I was like, hey, you know, I know it's about that time. She's like, yeah, you know, my mom just wants to know how's everything going. She didn't say you have to leave or anything, but, you know, that date is here. And I'm like, no, I got you. Like, I understand. I'm going to situate something. It was a little bit too early for me to just move into a room, because as soon as I had started getting my money, I had to pay off bills, you know. Like, I've been in New York for about a month now. Wasn't seeing that much money. Credit card bills is due. So... And I also have a car here in Charlotte, so I also had car bills that was due. So it was a lot. So I was like, you know, paying those first, and then I was worrying about getting a place. So I ended up going to another friend's house who actually lived in the Bronx. So this is all in the month of June. I didn't do house hopping much. As soon as I went to my other friend's house, another open door to me. I have great friends. Like, I love them to death. They're so helpful. Their parents are understanding. Her mom opened her doors to me, no problem at all. It was great. I stayed there for about a week. Not even that long. My boy had to go. I stayed there for about a week, and not because I was uncomfortable or anything. Her mom like gave me, I was comfortable, beyond comfortable. I'm thinking about her bed now, and the bed was so comfortable. But and we, you know, could get lit in there and everything, so it was cool. It was not a problem. But personally, I just don't like to be in other people's space for too long. And a week is not that long, but I just felt like, hey, you know, like, this isn't my house. I was house hopping. I was ready to be to myself by now. So I went to this agency on 168th or 161st. I'm not sure which one it is. It's either 168 or 161st. It's somewhere in that area. It's called Rooms for Rent. And I had went to the agency because I researched a few things. I knew a few people who had done the roommate thing before, and this was one of the places that was recommended. I also didn't really care which place I went to, because at the end of the day, they're all gonna rent me out of room, so it doesn't matter. So I went to the place on 168th Street, and it's on Broadway, in case anybody wants to go. And the place isn't the best looking place, but it doesn't really matter, because their job isn't to be appealing, it's to help you get a place. That's how I look at it. So yeah, I went there, and they put me into my first room, right? first of all, I want to say overall, I enjoyed living on my own. It was pretty cool. It gave me a sense of independence and knowing what it's like to be by yourself, not depending on anyone, paying your bills. It gave me, pull this up some. I feel like I'm all out. It introduced me to adulthood, you know, like it put me out there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it put me out there. The first place I went to, I was very precise about what I wanted. They asked you questions like, hey, what are you looking for? What kind of roommates do you want? Do you want to live with a man? Do you want to live with a woman? Do you want to live with an older man? Do you want to live with an older woman? Questions like that. Personally, my preference was to only live with women. I don't feel comfortable living with men because I know how I dress. It has nothing to do with like, well, it does have things to do with men, but it was just, I know how I dress. I know I'm a bit provocative, so I don't want to stay with anybody and put them in any position to be like, oh, you know, they might try to grope me or anything. I also don't want to put myself in any position to get groped, so I was like, I'm gonna stay with the woman. At that, they had an older woman for me. So the place that they showed me was in the Bronx, right? Well, I saw a few places, even in Manhattan, but I didn't like them because of the situation, like how they were. I just don't want to be all throughout the house. Like, I don't want to have to walk too far to get to my room and walk too far to be in my space. And it was things like that, you know. I just didn't like how some of the apartments were set up. So a good amount of them I turned down. My problem is I went with somebody who doesn't even live on their own, so they couldn't really help me pick good decisions or not. But this guy went with me to one of the places, and he the first place that I actually stayed at. And the lady there was pretty cool, you know. She seemed cool. She sold me some false hopes, like, oh, you know, the last person who stayed here, they stayed up until they moved out, and whatever. Yeah, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is a perfect place. Don't get me wrong, I didn't really care for the building because it was a project building in the Cut in the Bronx on 161, or was it 168, something like that, Teller Avenue. It was just, it wasn't a good looking area, but it wasn't a bad deal for what I was getting at the moment. So I was like, you know what, cool, whatever. No matter what, it's a city, there's danger everywhere, you know, take a risk, whatever, cool. Anyways, so yeah. I did stay with her for a while. Things didn't go as planned. I want to say they didn't go as planned because when I came in, I feel like I came in as a child. I don't feel like I came in as an adult. So I feel like me coming in as a child, she took that and she kind of looked at me like a child of hers. You know what I mean? So for example, when I came in, her rules were, hey, you can have, you know, a few people over. I don't mind guests, but no parties or anything like that, which I'm not the type to even really have people over because I don't care for stuff like that. But I would like to have, you know, if I got my suitor and I want my suitor to come suit me, I want him to come over. So I understand. I didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable or anything. So she also had rules like, you know, certain time of being in the house and things like that, which didn't work for me because I was a server. So I told her up front, that's not going to work. You know, I have to actually, you know, come in late because I work at a restaurant. We live all the way in the Bronx. I'm commuting from 42nd Street. It's just not going to work. So came to terms with that. And then the room was just like, you know, the room wasn't bad, I guess. It was okay. It was kind of like a hotel vibe. It had no cable or anything. You couldn't get in. You would have to like buy a Fire Stick and stuff to watch TV. And then it was really hot. It was so hot. Like, it had no AC in it. It was hot. I think the first night I stayed there, I woke up drenched in my sweat. I've never before in my life woke up drenched in my sweat. I woke up drenched in my sweat. Like, I was so upset about it. So I went to like the living room downstairs. At the time I didn't have a fan because I didn't realize how hot the room got. So just first night or whatever, I went to the living room downstairs. She had a fan down there and I just slept on the couch with the fan on. And she came to me the next day. She's like, oh, I feel so bad. Like, I saw you sleeping here. I know you're hot, you know, maybe you should get a fan. You can use my fan until you get one. I'm like, thank you. You know, I went upstairs, I used the fan. And then eventually, you know, I bought my own fans and stuff to try to accommodate for the room. Midway through, probably like a few days in, I had like a whole breakdown. Like, I was so upset about my living condition because even though I had bought other fans, I had invested all this money into stuff, it was not changing anything. I was so hot. I kept waking up out of my sleep drenched. For the first time in my life, I took a cold shower, which I have nothing against cold showers. Just personally, I like to steam. I was taking cold showers like every single day because it was so freaking hot in there. even with my fans on. Like, I had 2 fans. Even with my 2 fans, I was hot. And I know y'all probably like, why you didn't just buy an AC? But keep in mind, I'm not planning on staying here. So I didn't want to invest in an AC. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be here. Oh, and also she was charging me to put the AC in. She's like, you know, it was going to go up like an extra $80 for me to put in the AC. When I had these fans that, you know, as long as they was on me, I was fine. So at this time, money's kind of tight. Don't got extra money to do that. No, it's not gonna work. So I was there, we were chilling for a little bit, and then after that, she thought she was my mother. And I say that because some time goes by and a friend comes over. So I bring over a friend. It's a female friend. She doesn't mind. My friend is over there. This goes into my lash business. I'm still trying to get my lash business going. She already told me that you can have 1 or 2 people over. You know, you just can't have, or she said you can have a few, but I take that as 1 or 2. But you can't have multiple people. So I brought over a friend and I was doing her lashes. I wanted to try them. And you know, she kind of said something about it. She was like, oh, they can't stay. It went from, you know, they could be there, they could stay, till they can't stay. So I was like, okay, no problem. She can't stay. I just want to do her lashes. I don't want to make this lady feel uncomfortable at all because this is not my home. I was renting a room in her home. So I was like, okay, you know, I'm going to just do this girl's lashes. We'll chill for a little bit. She'll leave. Da, da, da. So the next day comes, she's there with me. She comes back, she's there with me. And then my guy friend comes over. Now he comes over and we're actually supposed to go out, but my friend was waiting for someone to come get her. So like she stayed there at the same time. So we're just there. And as soon as I bring him in the house, she's like, oh, he's not staying here, is he? And I'm like, no, he's not. But that's just so rude. Like, why would you yell that shit? Like, you know? But I'm like, no, he's not. So, whatever. Time goes by. The girlfriend leaves. Oops. Sorry, guys. My female friend, trying to fix it. Time goes by, my female friend leaves or whatever, and she texts me. She's like, hey, Jay, I'm trying to go to sleep. Your friend is still here. He has to leave. I don't want him here while I'm sleeping. He has to go. Understandable. I pack him up. You gotta go. He came all the way to see me from Brooklyn, so I felt bad, so I cabbed him to Brooklyn, because, you know, so I cabbed him to Brooklyn. I'm like, yeah, like, you came all the way here. I'm not about to make you get on the train. You gotta work in a few hours. Like, just cab your ass home. I understand. So the next day, you know, she's like, we need to talk about the arrangements. We need to have a conversation about the living situation, da-da-da. And I'm like, I agree. So we have the conversation and she's like, actually, you can't have anyone over. No one can stay here. And we need to talk about how late you come in the house. So I told her, I said, okay, no one can be here. I understand. Can't have people over. They can't stay over. I got you. I get it. Which kind of made me feel away because that means that my lash career had to get put back. So until you get a place, you can't do lashes, which is one of the reasons that you came here as well. Aside from going to school and but lashing was the second thing I wanted to do. So now that's another thing that's just put back. You can't do your lashes, but school is still okay. That's no problem. You just be commuting from the Bronx. Cool. And then she's like, and the timing that you come in is a problem. That's not going to work for me, sweetie, because this is how I get my money. So at the end of the day, I don't really care how you feel about the timing because I have to get my bank. But I wasn't rude about it. I told her I respect it. I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable in any way. If having someone here made you feel like that, I apologize. It won't happen again. Being an adult, which I'm feeling she still sees me as a child. But I'm like, okay, no problem. So a few days later, she texts me. No, not even a few. Oh, sorry. The next day, I'm on the phone. I'm on FaceTime with one of my guys. And she texts me and she's like, Jay, do you have a guy here? And I'm like, no. She's like, oh, because I hear a guy. I'm like, I'm on the phone. Like, so she comes and she knocks at my door and to come see if someone's in the room with me. I'm like, girl, are you serious right now? Is she serious right now? She's serious right now. This is crazy. So I'm like, okay, no problem. That was like strike three for me. Now I'm keeping you at a distance. Like, she used to make me coffee in the morning. I don't even want your coffee. Like, you trying to offer me shit. I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want it. It's fine. No. Cool. So next thing you know, a few days goes by and she's like, hey, Jay, sorry for the inconvenience, but my nephew's moving back in like 2 days. She said her nephew moving back in 2 days. And basically he needed the room that I was staying in, so I gotta go. That's what she was telling me. You gotta go. Like, you got 2 days to get out. And I told her, I'm like, excuse me, but it is a huge inconvenience because at the end of the day, that's not how this works. When it comes to eviction, people get 30 days. The fact that I'm renting a room, you have to give me a full week because I already paid you a week. She's like, oh, I'll give you the money back for a week. And I'm like, well, guess what? When I went to the agency and I started booking this room, I started paying for this room, I gave them the money up front to secure me a whole week of me leaving. So I have to stay here for a week until I find a new place. She's like, okay, understandable. He'll sleep on the couch, blah, 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 blah. Cool. I go back to the agency. Mind you, I'm in and out the house. I didn't go back to the agency till like day 3. Nephew's still not there. A liar. But anyways, I go back to the agency and I tell them what happened because I already paid them like $500 to even get this room. Like, you have to pay for the room and you have to pay like the down payment for in case you have to leave, you get that week free. So I went back to the agency and I told them everything, and the lady was understanding. The difficult part about this agency is they don't speak English. That's that's the difficult part. I'm laughing because I know people are like, how'd you do it if they don't speak English? Because she knows certain things, but they don't speak English. So I'm just adding that in case anybody want to go through this agency. They don't speak English. It's important to have somebody who speaks Spanish with you. So when I was explaining to her what happened, she wanted me to pay like a whole new deposit and everything, and I was like, no, I paid you $500. You're gonna work your magic, baby. So the ladies that were near me, they were also getting a room for like their friends or for themselves, and they were Spanish speaking women. So I told them what happened, and they all were like, they was like, no, oh no. So they told her, like, they was telling her in Spanish, and I don't know what they were saying, but I kept hearing ella and muchacha, so I knew they was talking about me, the girl. So so she worked her magic. She was like, oh, mommy, I understand. See, talking to me. I'm like, cool. All right. She gets me a new place. She's like, listen, what you looking for? She asked me the question again. She's like, are you okay with staying with a man? I'm like, I don't prefer to stay with a man. I don't want to, but what is it? Let me see. So she calls up this guy. He had a room available in his apartment. He rented out the rooms in his apartment. So that was a plus for me because I didn't want to do another situation where I was living with the person that owns the place, because it just seems like the rules keep getting bent and they can do whatever they want. I want to live with somebody who has their rules set in stone, and everybody in the apartment rents a room, so I don't have no problem with the roommates. That's what I wanted to do. So he was there, he had that available. So he was on 150th Street and Broadway in Manhattan, and I'm like, this is perfect. Like, I grew up in Manhattan. I know it like the back of my hand. It's not Harlem though, it's like in the Heights, but it's right there. So I know this. My family is literally on the next block on 151st Street, so I know this place like the back of my hand. I'm like, this is cool. Like, this is perfect with me. I go to the apartment and I check it out, and I meet his daughter because he was also Spanish speaking. He didn't really speak English that much until he met me. But he speaks Spanish primarily, so his daughter was there. So I introduced myself to her, she introduced herself to me, and we were vibing. It was pretty good. They were interested in me, but they were telling me, they're like, hey, this room is about to be gone soon. Like, if you want to stay here, you have to pay for it ASAP, like between today and tomorrow. And I was like, first of all, it was a great size room, and it was right by the door. So like, the door is here, my room is here. Like, I go straight in. That was a plus. Like, that was a plus. I don't have to bother you. You don't have to bother me. It's in Manhattan, so it's hallway style. So all the rooms are in the hallway. Then in the back is the kitchen. So you don't even have to worry about really bumping into people unless they leaving out their room to go out the door. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, this is cool. Only one roommate next to me. She was right on the opposite side. So my room is here. No, I'm sorry. The door is here. My room is here. She's like behind the door. Even better, we don't have to see each other. So I was like, yeah, like, I like this. So I came the next day. I really had no choice anyways but to go with whatever I saw, and I went for it. And thank God that this lady basically put me out. Thank God that she put me out, because that was the best living experience I ever had. Living with them, living with the roommates that I had in the second apartment in Manhattan, the best thing. First of all, they love me so much. I'm welcome to come back. They always tell me, like, you come back to New York, you're free to stay here. I just spoke to the owner yesterday. He was wishing me, happy holidays and everything. He was so sad I was leaving, but they're so welcoming. And please don't clock out. Okay, I ain't got no space, so my phone keeps clocking out. But what I'm trying to say to y'all is that I love the living situation. I was there. We all had like I got along with my roommates really good, so I made some new friends to go into the future with. And then I got along with my owner of my apartment and his daughter very well. Like they loved me so much. They were so sad I was leaving, but they were so happy for me too that I had decided to make the move. And there I was able to progress my lash business. So let's get into my lash business. So when I first got there, I was doing lashes on like friends and things, and I wanted to get more into it, you know, because I'm already certified. I want to show you guys my certificates. I'll probably throw them in here somewhere. But I am 3-time certified lash tech. Actually, I'm going to get them now. I'm such a proud lash tech that I framed them. And I'm going to put them on the wall because now I have, I have push pins, so I can put them on my wall. This is one. This is two. And this is the third one. I cracked it. I cracked it. I like stepped on it with my big ass feet. So now I have to buy another frame to match it. But I cracked it. But I'm 3-time certified. So I didn't take those. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to record this on my mom's phone because my phone keeps cutting off. But I got to my new place and I was doing lashes there and I had my first paying client. Wait, all right, I want to start into it. First of all, when I first started lashing, it was not the easiest thing ever. It wasn't. I had to get used to it again because I had gotten certified in February and I wasn't really lashing until like September. So by the time I did my move and everything, I probably got settled into my new place around August. So I like really started lashing in like September. And I was doing my friends' lashes. I started with them and doing promos and stuff. My promos were like $30 sets. The most was like $40 for like a volume set. Just to get out there, just to get my work out there after I had done my friends' lashes. At the beginning, it used to take me 4 to 5 hours to do lashes. Like, it was bad. It was terrible. I had like anxiety and I was so sad about it because I just felt like, dang, you know, like it's taking me this long and there's girls who could do lashes way faster. But it's a process. It's a process. You don't learn to do lashes in your sleep. You know what I mean? No matter if you're certified or not, it's all about time. Ooh. It's all about time, okay? If you don't sit there and practice your craft, you ain't gonna be able to get great at it. Just because you know how to do lashes don't mean that you know how to do it within a certain amount of time. You know what I mean? So it's okay that I took 4 hours to do lashes because I was new, I was beginning, I wasn't taking clients, you know, I was just practicing. I'm thankful to an old friend of mine who actually pushed me to do my lashes because he was very supportive in that area. If it wasn't for him, I probably would have never started doing my lashes. Like, once he saw that I was secure, I was doing everything, I had money coming in, I had a new place to live, and I was in school already. He's like, okay, what's going on with your lashes? Like, I'm ready to hear about, you know, at the time we was Batty Blinks. Now we're B Beauty Dolls. We're just Beauty Dolls, but the B stands for Bajay. But so I really, like, I'm very thankful for him for helping me in that area. He contributed a lot to my success when it came to my lash business. Kudos to you. Fuck you though. Nah, I'm joking, not fuck you. But yeah, so anyways, he contributed a lot to that. Now I am on a wave of, oh, I'm sorry. After that, I was practicing lashes and I'm so thankful that I got like the hard part out the way. A lot of my mistakes I made with my friends. I am sad about that, but I'm thankful that it happened with them and that was someone, you know, who was paying me or someone that I didn't know so that they could be just a little bit more understanding. I had a really big mishap with one of my friends when it came to her lashes. In the beginning, I was placing the lashes too close to the eyes and it was causing like burning and irritation. So I had my first mishap with one of my friends and I actually placed the lashes way too close to her to her actual lash line, which caused her eyes to get like red and it would burn her and it was bad. So I have pictures of that. I'm gonna show you. If I don't know, she should be okay with me showing you guys, but it's just things that happen. It's common. Don't see it and be like, girl, like, what the heck, what did you do? Because it's not that bad of a picture, but it's kind of like, you know, you learn from it, and I definitely learned from it. It never happened again. None of my clients leave me with red eyes or anything because I take it so serious. Like, I don't play about that. It's people's eyes. This is your face. You shouldn't be walking around here with your eyes red up, looking crazy. No, that's not okay. It's not cool, and I don't approve of it. So After that mishap with her lashes, I took a while and I stepped back and I stopped just doing the lashes to do them and doing them with care. You know what I mean? Even though I was caring about them before, I still wasn't properly placing them. And they teach you how to properly place lashes. So I had to start placing them correctly and doing them with care. So after, that happened, which she was understanding, very understanding about it, I started actually, being more careful. So after I started being careful, I don't place the lashes on the lash line. All right, I'm gonna do this on my mom's phone because my phone is being a little ghetto. Oh, my mom's phone's tilted. Okay. All right, back to what we were saying. So yeah, after all that happened with my friend's lashes and stuff. Oh, next problem was the tape. So then I was taping under the eyes, and when I would go pull up the tape to take off the lashes would be stuck on the tape, and I would be like, oh my gosh, this is so frustrating. This is so frustrating. So I had to learn to not lash on the tape, which of course is another thing you shouldn't be doing. I mean, it's okay if it happens in the beginning because you're a beginner. You're gonna learn, you're gonna see, and you're gonna know this is not supposed to happen. You know what I mean? So after a few clients, I learned how to, pull it up off the tape without hurting them, but it was still like, I don't even want to deal with that. Let's just not do it like that at all. So I started learning techniques of pulling the eyelid back a certain way so that when you're gluing, it's not gluing to the tape. Also not applying too much glue, because if you apply too much glue, you'll be gluing down the lash no matter what. Like, it's bound to happen because the glue is making it heavy, so it's just sticking to whatever it gets on. Once I got that down pack, then it was my fans and my lashes, and it was just like, okay, you know how to full them now. Now that you're filling them too much. So I started doing volume sets, which I was considering classic, and like a person would be paying me classic price and they were volume, and I'll show you guys an example of that. It was actually mega volume. Like, I had a girl pay me, for her classic set, which I didn't overcharge her. It's not that she didn't want to pay me more. It was just that she asked me for a classic set, and I didn't know how to thin out my lashes enough to meet a classic set. So I was giving more than I was supposed to give. So now I know, because I do fans. Even when I do classics, I do fans. I'll be honest with you, I'm about to take classics out of my sets anyways, because I don't do individuals where I'm putting one by one by one. I just don't do that. So it's no point in me really doing classic sets anyways, because all my classic sets are going to consist of fans. They're just going to be thinned out. And it's nice like that too, but it was just a few girls that was getting over, and it's not like it was their fault. It was my fault. I was basically not knowing what I was doing, and I was applying too much to one. Like, a girl paid $45 for her classic set, and I gave her a whole mega volume $100 set. Just bage, not knowing how to properly do things. So that's on me 100%. I don't fault my clients at all. I don't fault them at all. I had my first paying client. I don't even know when. I want to say maybe in like September, I had my first paying client, which she's also my nail tech. Get into it. She's my first paying client. She gets whatever she wants. If she tells me to bring my ass all the way to Missouri to do her lashes, I'm going to take my ass to Missouri. Because you was there, and you supported me, and you continue to support me. I'm grateful for you forever. And that's why I support you. This is my fault, by the way. I've been knocking my nails hard. She's a great nail tech. Like, I got my nails done for Jamaica. I'm going to show y'all me in Jamaica in October, and my nails lasted me all the way to December. From October to December, none of them came off. Great. Like, they were great. Like, no problems at all. She's hands down one of the best nail techs I've ever had. Honestly, no, I don't really have nails. She's the best nail tech I've ever had. That's my girl. But, yeah, so my lashing was going good. It took off for the better. But after a while, I sat back and I was like, dang, I've been spending a lot of money. I'm here in New York. I just came from Jamaica in October. I'm dishing out all this money. I'm looking at my pay stub. My pay stub is telling me that I've made 30-something thousand since June, and I have nothing to show for it. I'm lashing. I'm reinvesting in my business, because at the end of the day, it's still a new business. No matter what, the money that you're making, you're going to put right back into it, because you don't have the clientele yet. You still have a few people that come to you. And the girls that came to me, they kept coming to me. It's not like I was having any issues with my clients. I kept getting the same clients, but it wasn't a lot of clients. You know what I mean? So it was situations like that. Just reinvesting in my brand. It was the spending, it was the cost. It was also credit cards. On top of that, car payments, car notes, things that I had to pay for. And it was all taking a toll on me. So around November, I went through my seasonal depression. I'm human. We all go through seasonal depression, especially when it gets cold outside. We all go through it. I went through mine, and it made me realize that it's okay to take a step back. It was okay to take a step back. I wasn't failing. I had did really good. I passed all my classes. I was in an internship as well. Another thing I forgot to mention, I was also in an internship for my school. I go to school to be a social worker. So for my I was in a social work resource center where we were helping out clients, you know, who were going through things during the pandemic and just trying to help them get assistance from the government. So I was dealing with that too. And during my seasonal depression, a lot became overwhelming on me when I realized, you know, financially I wasn't where I would like to be, because I'm normally a person who sits on thousands and have money in the bank. You know what I mean? I'm not on saying it on any bragging thing. I'm just saying financially that's the person that I normally am. And the fact that I'm not that person anymore, it made me feel like I wasn't being successful. No matter how successful I was in all my fields, even when I'm doing the most, I still feel like I'm not doing enough. That's just a personal thing. So I decided to, you know, I was talking to my mom about it, and, you know, I was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to come back home and stack my money properly this time. Also because I was in New York and I was spending all this money when I felt like I didn't need to. I was spending money to basically rent out a room in someone else's apartment to live the same way I could live in my house. You know what I mean? The only difference is that that's New York, this is Charlotte. It's cold right now, nothing's active, nothing's popping. Girl, go home and stack your money. That's what I saw it as. So I came back home late December. So that's what it is right now. It's like December 29th, maybe? Let me see. Yeah, today's December 29th. Tomorrow's the 30th. I came back home on the 20th or 22nd, and I just decided that I was gonna come here, do my lashes, get my business going, and stack my money. All in all, moving to the city on my own was very successful. I won't say that it was bad. I got into like a lot of independence. Now I'm at the point with my mom where it's like, if I want to leave and I want to do what I want to do, I don't got to explain nothing, which makes me feel great because I'm still a little girl. So she was seeing me as, you know, you can't move too much, you can't do too much type of situation. And then when I got out on my own, now she looks at me more like, okay, you're more of an adult now. You know, you move and you do what you want when you want to, just communicate. So it's like, it helped me in that area. Now I can do my lashes here and I can move freely when I feel like it, which is great. It's awesome. And I also have my car here. I was spending an extra like $600, almost $700 a month, yeah, on my car, plus my $800 a month rent, you know, for just to stay in a room, all from a serving job and lashing. You know, like my day was back to back to back to back, just working. I had a Monday to Sunday schedule. Mondays and Wednesdays I'd have school. Tuesdays and Friday, Saturday, Sunday Tuesdays and then Saturday and Sunday I'd work. And then Friday was supposed to be my off days, but it was no off day. I had my internship also on Monday, and then also on Wednesday, and then also on Friday. So I had a busy schedule the whole entire time. So school was ending on December 20th, and I was leaving the moment it was ending. I was ready to go. Thankfully, I still managed to pass all of my classes. The least, is that how I want to say that? The lowest, yeah, there we go. The lowest grade I got in one of my classes was a B+. In my Spanish class, I got a B+. Whatever. But I'm almost done. I'm about to graduate next semester, so I don't even care. I'm good. Like, I'll take my B+ and I'll keep it pushing, because at the end of the day, I was working my ass off in New York, so it's fine. It's whatever. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take the B+ and I'm gonna keep it going. It's cool. I'll get an A next semester in my other Spanish class, because it's a 2-part class. I'll get an A in the other one, but this one, we got to take that B, my boy. We got to take it. But now I'm back home, and I'm happy to be back home. I'm in my huge room. As you can see, it's set up all pretty and nice and neat for me, you know? Like, I love it here. I feel so much homier. I'm happy that I can finally chill and not work, and I don't really have to pay for anything. You know, I got my car payments up to date before I left, so all my car payments are good. That was the last thing I paid. Phone bills good. You know, like, my regular bills are on point. I do start working January 3rd. I went back to my old job at T-Mobile. I've been thinking about going to Ulta, though, because they told me today that they're hiring, and I'm like, Beauty consultant sounds nice. You might have to see about that one. So I might end up in Ulta. We'll see. But I know for sure I'm going back to T-Mobile. Guaranteed commission. Like, let's go. I worked at T-Mobile when I first lived in Charlotte. So I'm plugged in with the manager. She loves me. So she just told me come back. She hired me as soon as I text her, y'all. Like, girl, how you know I'm not a criminal? No, I'm joking. I'm not a criminal. But she hired me. Now that I'm back home, one of the things I am trying to work on, though, is smoking. I almost said I don't smoke cigarettes, but might as well. No, just joking. But I do have a little bit of a weed addiction. People try to say, oh, weed is not drugs. Weed is not a drug. You can't get addicted to weed. Yes, you can. I have a weed addiction. I've been doing better since I've been down here. I smoked once since I've been down here. Granted, it's only been a week. Don't call me out. Okay? But that's better than nothing when you have to smoke every day. So it's going better. The fact that I'm home also makes it easier because, see, when I stop smoking, I go through withdrawals. So I have like withdrawal periods where I don't eat properly. It's not really the weed that I'm addicted to. I'm a New Yorker, baby. I smoke papers and Fonto, wrapped around sour, papers and grabber. You already know. So, you know, it's the grabs. It's the grabs. I ain't gonna lie. The grabs. If there's no grab in the spliff, I don't want it. Me unwant it. I want to be Jamaican so bad. Me on want whatever. But if there's no grabber in the spliff, I don't want it. So that's really what the addiction comes from. But I do like getting high. I ain't gonna lie. A blunt sounds nice. But no, I'm working on it. So New Year's done. No more vaping. Gotta go. This is something I started in New York too. Working at Applebee's. Working as a server. This should get you through. But no. It's a bad addiction. It's so hard. Like I'm telling you, I've thrown this one in the trash about 3 times. Good thing I throw it in the trash full of paper so I can always just go pick it up and use it again. But I throw this in the trash all the time. I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm breaking up with you. And then I'll be right back the next day. It's love, baby. But in January 2022, won't catch me vaping. It ain't happening. Not me. So that's just what we're working on now. My New Year's resolution to myself is to stay focused, stay consistent. You know, I'm all about self-love. I was in a dark space a few months ago. I go through dark spaces when I go through things emotionally, but I'm good now. You know, I'm happier. I'm chilling. I enjoy it. I enjoy myself. I love myself a lot. Even if I'm going through things, I don't allow myself to stay in situations that I know isn't benefiting me. Like if I realize that something's not working for me, I'll go. The sad part is I'll be hurt about it after I leave, but it's okay though because I knew what was for me and what wasn't. You know what I mean? I do love the city. I love my friends. I love everybody there, but I'll visit. I'll come see y'all, my boy. I'll visit, but I ain't moving back. If I move anywhere else, what I've been thinking is I will move to Atlanta. Oh, and another tip about moving on your own in general, move with money. The reason that I don't think it went so successful for me is because when I moved from Charlotte to New York, I moved with no money. I had just quit T-Mobile. I didn't want to be down here anymore. I was going through my depression and I just left. Like I just moved. I didn't stack first. I feel like if I would have went with money and I would have been stacked, living there would have been good for me. But I was living day to day, like tip out money every single day because of the simple fact that I did not move properly. I just went straight there. I didn't go there with funds. I didn't go there set up. I didn't go there with the car, some way to make extra money. I just went there and was like, I'm gonna figure it the hell out when I get there. That works in most situations. Well, I'm sorry, that works in some situations, not all situations. Because even if it works out for you financially, you just may not be able to handle it all at once. You know what I mean? If you got other things to take care of, you'll just be living check to check until you get stable or until you find a better position. Now, if you go there with a good position and a good paying job and a good established career, then hey, I say go for it. But But I advise anybody who wants to move on their own to stack their money first. Stack your paper before you go anywhere. Because if you just jump into something and you don't got no money for it, you'll be back home. You'll be back home. And never feel like a failure if you have to go back home. There's nothing wrong with it. Because at the end of the day, that safe haven is for you. Why not be somewhere that's comfortable for you than to be somewhere where you're stressed out financially and can't make ends meet? You know what I mean? One thing I never did when I was there was be late on my rent or miss a payment for my rent. Always paid. Always paid. And I say that because that is a priority. If you ever see that you can't pay your rent, you can't do that. You gotta go back home, stack your paper, get your money right, but don't stay anywhere when you can't afford it. Don't do it, because all you do is put yourself in a deeper hole. If you only got to pay $200 this week, but you don't got it, so next week you got to shit out $4, that's even worse on your pockets, because you out of a whole nother $2. That's how I see it. If I got paid this week and I get paid next week, but next week I got to spit out a whole $4 when I could have just did 2 this week and then 2 next week, I see that as worse. I see that as an L, because if you would have just paid it this week, next week you'd only have to pay out $200, and then you'd have that extra 2 still in your account. I'm just saying. You could be like, oh, it's the same too. It's the same money. But guess what? It hits worse when all that's coming out at once. At the end of the day, it hits worse. Nobody wants $400 pulled out their account when they know that 2 of it could have went from that last check instead of going from this one. That's just, don't fight me now. I know how you girls like to tussle, but I know. I'm telling you, don't do it. So yeah, that was my TED Talk, guys. Good choice. I actually am glad that I got to resurface that and talk about, living on my own. It was a good thing, and I appreciated it. I loved it. I'm so thankful that I'm still good with the people who I rented the room out from, because I would definitely be back if I go visit New York. I'll go stay there. I'm pretty sure in the summer I'm gonna go for the whole summer again, like I did this summer, but I'm not gonna live though. Can't get me to do it. Can't get me to do it again. Can't get me to do it again. But but I will go visit for sure. So I'll be back, and when I'm there, cool. But comment, some feedback, anything y'all want to say to me, anything you feel I could have worked on, I could have did better, how you feel about this video, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you want to do. Thank you guys for watching. See you soon. Bye.